Hello friends, what a week I've just experienced. As you probably know, I took the occasion to go to Rome to be present at the same time as the formal delegation of people from the First Nations, the Inuit and the Métis, met with the Holy Father. And I went there to be there at the same time to pray and for the blessings that could flow out of such a meeting, and just to hear what was being said. What were the words being used, being shared? Because words have a lot of power, a lot of power. Words, especially when they're spoken from the heart, but I'm going to say even more when they're listened to by the heart. And that's really what brings me back here with, a little bit of jet lag tiredness, but just real joy. God is at work, because last week was about words. It was about the delegates from each of the three groups, an hour to even 2 hours with the Pope, and just sharing just their whole experience, the past, the present, their hopes for the future, all of that. And again you would hear from the people, from the delegates, and from my brother bishops who were the part of the formal delegation. The Pope listened. He really listened. You could see it in his eyes. You could see it in the way he responded to people, just the warmth with which he welcomed them, and his attentiveness. He really listened to their words. And think about it. I mean, this is the Indigenous of Canada in Rome speaking to the head of the Catholic Church. Your words, the words of the Indigenous, were coming to where they needed to be said and to be heard. And he listened. And he listened. And then on Friday, then all were gathered. We were about 200 in that Clementine Hall, and it's a beautiful, I'm going to say even rich Renaissance piece of art, that room. And in that room that spoke of the power of the papacy, centuries ago, well, the Pope spoke these words, words of a heart that opens to the suffering of the other and wishes to bring healing and hurt, truth and reconciliation, the making of right relationships such that in the heart of all there is peace. Because that's what reconciliation is. First and foremost, I'm going to say, the making right relationships, or making right in relationships, so that the heart of each and everyone has peace. And so he spoke these words, from that strength of listening and the strength of compassion. I was there. Sort of had a front row, actually. All the Indigenous here, and then the bishops who were in Rome beside him. And I, in Italian, getting the English text later, hearing these words. These are the words of Pope Francis. I also feel sorrow and shame for the role that a number of Catholics, particularly those with educational responsibilities, have had in all these things that wounded you, in the abuses you suffered, and in the lack of respect shown for your identity, your culture, and even your spiritual values. All these things are contrary to the gospel of Jesus Christ. For the deplorable conduct of those members of the Catholic Church, I ask for God's forgiveness. And I want to say to you with all my heart, I am very sorry. And I join my brothers, the Canadian bishops, in asking your pardon. Incredibly powerful words. But quickly, of course, the question comes to everybody's mind, but what now? But what now? And that's a really important question. Because on the one hand, the what now can be a hope that, okay, it's all over. Or what now, and clear, definite actions of, but the what now is what we need to continue carrying in prayer. That's coming home from Rome. I continue to pray for that the what now will indeed be one more step in the righting of relationships, the bringing of peace to people's hearts. One of the what nows will be his visit this summer to Canada. It's very clear he's coming. Where, when exactly, that'll be announced by the Vatican, and I believe quite soon. And there, Pope Francis will again have the occasion to listen to words to the people that will be gathered in the various places that he will go, listening and then speaking. Speaking words similar to what he said in Rome to the delegates, and now to more people, and inviting all of us then to make our own the responsibility of the righting of relationships and the bringing of peace. And so when he mentioned the Canadian bishops there, he knew what he was saying. He was saying, I have done, I am doing my part. You Canadian bishops, you Canadian church, what now? It's your part. And I'm going to say your part especially. And so here in the Archdiocese of Saint-Boniface, we're thinking of a variety of things. One, hopefully when the Pope comes, I'm able to, and accompanied from people from our northern communities, to go and meet the Pope. That would be a great gift to them, to me, to us together for this church. Also, then, so much of it is around education, knowledge, acknowledging. We hear that in the words of the Pope. And we all know, or we all think we know what this is all about. But the most dangerous thing is when you don't know what you don't know. And so the whole effort of coming to know the story, and in efforts that are led by, I'm going to say, the members of our northern communities. So really, the people of our Indigenous communities, parishes, taking the lead in speaking and saying, and Bishop, faithful of the diocese, this is what we believe would be good to do, to support, to advocate for the righting of relationships, for peace with all. So very, very much wanting to listen to the voice of the Indigenous here, the ones that I've come to know, the many more that I hope to come to know, that can lead us, because it really has to be led by the Indigenous, this effort of reconciliation. Partners, absolutely. Each listening to words, speaking words from the heart. But yeah, I come back from Rome, I'm going to say exhilarated. Exhilarated because so much good was lived there amongst the Indigenous from across Canada, between the bishops and the Indigenous, multiple conversations and contacts. I'm going to say even friendships established. I mean, it took the Pope to get the Indigenous of Canada and the bishops of Canada in that official delegation spending a whole week together in the same hotel. Conversations, words that then have the strength, one step at a time, to be faithful to that question, what now? So I invite you to keep on praying and being open, listening and speaking for this reconciliation, what God wants for all of our hearts together. Thank you.